There's $300 billion sitting in government accounts right now. And yesterday, something happened that could put $2,400 of it in your pocket. Larry Kudlow asked Speaker Mike Johnson a simple question. The answer? It changes everything. There's a school of thought that says that's the best way to do it. That's what the Speaker of the House said about sending you money. Your money, money that came from the tariffs you've been paying every time you bought something imported, every time prices went up at the store. But here's what he didn't say. 8 million Americans are already getting checks. Not next year, not someday. Right now. New York started mailing them in September. Governor Kathy Hochul announced it back in May. And now, 8 million refund checks are hitting mailboxes across the state. Real money. Real checks. Real people opening their mail and finding unexpected cash. Sure, they're smaller, $150 to $400, but that's not the point. The point is this. It's proof. Proof the government can do this. Proof they're willing to do this. Proof that when states collect too much in sales tax because inflation drove prices higher, they can give it back. And most importantly, proof that the federal government is watching and learning. Think about what New York discovered. When prices go up, sales tax revenue explodes. Why? Because sales tax is a percentage. Higher prices mean higher tax collection. New York looked at all that extra money and made a choice. They're giving it back. Because the federal plan. It's much bigger. $600. Per person. Per child. Family of 4? $2,400. That's not a tax refund. That's not a loan. That's tariff money being returned to you. Cold, hard cash that could hit your bank account. Money to pay bills. Money to fix your car. Money to finally breathe. Congress has the bill. It's not a rumor or a maybe. There's an actual bill, with actual numbers, with actual support. Senator Josh Hawley says he has the votes. He's saying it publicly, on record. The money is there. $300 billion in tariff revenue surplus just for 2025 alone. Think about that number, $300 billion. That's more than some country's entire economy. And it came from tariffs on goods you bought. So why don't you have your check yet? Because something's happening in November that could change everything. The Supreme Court. They're about to decide if these tariffs are even legal. November hearing. 3 to 6 month decision. February at the earliest, maybe May. The highest court in the land is going to look at these reciprocal tariffs President Trump put in place and decide legal or illegal. Constitutional or not. Think about what that means. Hundreds of billions collected, money already in government accounts. Then potentially ruled illegal. Where does that money go? Back to importers? To manufacturers? Or to the American people who've been paying higher prices for months? This is unprecedented. We've never had a situation where this much money might suddenly need to be returned. And if the Supreme Court says these tariffs were illegal, that money has to go somewhere. But wait, this gets even more interesting. Those tariffs everyone's been complaining about, they're actually working. Not in the way you might think. Yes, they're raising money. Yes, they're making imports more expensive. But that's not the real goal. The real goal is what's happening right now in corporate boardrooms across America. Meta's bringing manufacturing back, not talking about it, doing it. NVIDIA's investing here, Apple too. These aren't small companies making symbolic gestures. These are the titans of industry, moving billions in investment back to American soil. More manufacturing means more jobs. Real manufacturing jobs. The kind that built the middle class. The kind that pay enough to buy a house, raise a family, live the American dream. More jobs means more tax revenue, more Social Security funding, more Medicare funding, the entire economy transforming. While you've been paying higher prices at the checkout, a massive economic shift has been happening behind the scenes, and that $300 billion surplus, it's not just sitting there. Remember when the federal government invested in Intel? $5 billion. Less than a month later, $14 billion. They nearly tripled it. In less than a month. This is your government taking tariff money and multiplying it, growing it, making it work. $5 billion became $14 billion faster than most people pay off their credit cards. Now imagine that strategy with tariff money. Growing, compounding. Every day that passes, that pile gets bigger. Every investment that hits, more money for potential rebates. People close to lawmakers are whispering about a plan, and the timing? It's perfect. 2026. Midterm elections. Think like a politician for a moment. You have hundreds of billions in surplus. You have the ability to cut checks. You have an election coming up. What do? Speaker Johnson said it himself. People are going to feel the positive effects of all these pro-growth policies. When exactly? He said they'll reward it at the midterms. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is political strategy as old as democracy itself. Time the benefits for maximum impact. Make sure people remember who helped them when they vote. Imagine checks arriving. To struggling families trying to make rent. To veterans who served their country and can't make ends meet. To the elderly choosing between medicine and groceries, right when it matters most. It's brilliant, really. Take the pain of tariffs now. Build the surplus, invest it, grow it, then return it when it will have the most impact, both economically and politically. But here's what you need to know now. If you're married, making under $150,000, you're likely eligible. The bill phases out above that. But for most Americans, that $600 per person is yours. Single parent with 2 kids, that's $1,800. Retired couple living on Social Security, that's $1,200. Young family with a new baby, that's $1,800 to help with all those expenses. The eligibility mirrors what New York is doing. If you filed taxes, if you're within income limits, if you're not claimed as a dependent, you qualify. It's designed to help working families. Middle-class families, the people who've been hit hardest by inflation and tariffs. The money exists. The political will is building. States are already doing it. 8 million New Yorkers are proof. The only question is when. Will it come after the Supreme Court ruling? Think February to May timeframe. Will they wait to see what the court says before acting? As part of election strategy? That puts us closer to 2026. Maximum political impact, or sooner than anyone expects. What if Americans demand their money back now? When Speaker Johnson says we'll ultimately do the right thing. When Larry Kudlow is publicly pushing for it. When the bill is already written and support is already building. This isn't speculation anymore. This is momentum. And momentum in politics is like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small. A bill gets written. A senator announces support. A state program proves it works. Suddenly, it's unstoppable. $300 billion looking for a way back to you. The tariffs that made everything more expensive? They might just become the rebate check in your mailbox. The same money that frustrated you at the gas pump and grocery store could come back as cash in hand. New York proved it can happen. 8 million checks. Already sent. Already cashed. Already helping families. The federal government is watching, learning, planning. If New York can do it with sales tax surplus, why can't Washington do it with tariff surplus? And that family of 4 that could get $2,400, that could be your family. $2,400. That's 2 months of groceries. That's car repairs you've been putting off. That's breathing room you haven't had in years. So I have to ask, what would you do with that money? Because whether it comes from tariff rebates, Supreme Court rulings, or political calculation timed for electoral impact, this money is building up. Every day, every import, every tariff paid. The pressure is mounting. Congress is talking, bills are moving, states are acting. And something has to give. The Speaker of the House basically admitted it's being discussed at the highest levels. The money is there, the mechanism is there, the precedent is being set right now in New York. Will you be ready when it does?